West Valley. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday. It is so nice and cool in here. Can you believe how nice it is inside? So it's awesome. Today we have Reverend Clyde will be conducting our services, and he is feeling good. We're going to start it off with This Is the Day, so please join us and we'll get it started. Ready?
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day, a day to be seized, yeah. A day I can feel my spirit set free. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and high up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day all my dreams come true. Feel the Spirit working its way through. Yes, this is the day. It's time to fly higher and high up in the sky. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
There we go. You can hear me now. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to West Valley Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Reverend Clyde Goins. I'm the assistant minister, and I am here speaking today. Reverend Karen is out for this Sunday. I actually asked her if I could speak, so I kind of bumped her out of this Sunday service, and so I'm speaking this Sunday, and she's taking the day off. So welcome to the center. Welcome, and we're glad you're here, and we come together every Sunday to remember our truth, that we're whole, perfect, and complete the way we are. So we are still moving along with the classes that we have, and we've got some other events coming up. So please check the website as well as the newsletter, because the events, we're getting ready to move into our busy season as the fall approaches us. I mean, we're still in the heat right now, but believe it or not, we are planning for the fall and all the wonderful things that we're going to be doing. So more to come on that. And Reverend Karen will be back next Sunday, and then I will be taking off for the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to be going on vacation as well, and so I'm taking some time off, and so I'm really excited about that as well. So, all right. So if we can say our vision statement together. Let me see if I am. There we go. This is a one-person show here, right? So I'm managing the slides, talking, everything. So anyways, all right, so let's say our vision statement together. We are a loving, joy-filled community, honoring the many paths to God as we learn and live the science of mind principles, and so it is. So if you can just sit back and relax, enjoy this nice, cool, air-conditioned room. Open up your hearts and mind for the Bradford's beautiful music and my message.
So take a deep cleansing breath as we go within.
I will make a quiet place within my heart. I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still and know.
I will make a quiet place within my mind, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord.
Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, my soul, be still. Be still, no.
I will make a quiet place within my life, and I will wait upon the Lord, wait upon the Lord. I will make a quiet place.
Be still and know that there is one life, and that life is God, and that God is faith, beauty, peace, love, and all the goodness in this world. That life of God, that is faith, knowing that every day the sun rises and sets, the grass grows, the wind blows, and all of that that is beautiful in life is all God. And what I know of God, I know of myself and each one of us here in this room, that we are the divine expressions of that one God. And I claim and affirm this, knowing this beauty, this love, this faith, this joy, that all that exists in this world is God expressing individually in each one of us. And knowing this, I speak a word of blessing for the Bradfords with their beautiful music, their harmony that touches our hearts and souls. And that beautiful music that they share with us is divinely perfect. And for Reverend Clyde, knowing that his words are the words of God flowing through him, that his message will touch each one of us individually in our own unique way. And for each one in service today, and each one in this room, and those who are not with us in person, I speak a word of gratitude and blessing. And with gratitude, I release my words into the action of universal law, knowing that it is done, it is so, and so it is. Amen. My reading today is from This Thing Called You, which we are reading in the class, This Thing Called You. Learn to exchange fears, doubts, and uncertainties for faith. Faith can make you whole. Faith can convert fear into certainty, poverty into riches, disease into health. Faith can lift you from a valley of despair into a mountain of hope and certainty. There is a power which flows out through your words of faith. There is a law of faith which has power to bring into your life everything that you need. Jesus understood this. It was through this law that he healed the sick, raised the dead, gave sight to the blind, and fed the multitudes. He said that anyone who believes can do what he was doing. He said that you can do it. This power is in you. It is where you are. It is yours, but it must be used. Let's take a moment to contemplate those words. And so it is.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines in me, seeing into the morrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
All right, thank you, Rod and Kathy, and also Kay. The topic of my talk today is faith, and I think they pretty much summed it up in the song and in the reading. So wonderful. So thank you. Kay, would you do me a favor? I left my water in the table in there. Note to self: if I'm going to talk for Karen, I'm not going to do it in July and August. Because wearing a sports coat is a little hot up here, and the light shining on, I'm starting to sweat. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So oh no, I'm good. It hides the wire. Listen to him. Take it off. It's like I'm in a strip show. Oh, Rod's sharing his fan. Thanks, Rod. All right, so thank you. So again, the title of my talk today is Faith. And so I read this book. I've been reading this book. I just finished it by Sharon Salzberg. And she has a beautiful way of explaining what faith is. And the book is written in a Buddhist perspective. And the title of the book is Faith, Trusting Your Own Deepest Experiences. So the title was really interesting. I was like, wow, I never thought about faith as trusting myself. But then I thought, why not? We are all God expressing. Our faith deepens as we question our beliefs. Our faith becomes a lighthouse as we weather a storm. Our faith provides us a sense of comfort and peace as we navigate through life. So my faith has really deepened over the last few years, and I've had this experience of trying to understand what am I trying to understand about faith, and then I stumbled across this book. And what happened, I mean, life, the way that life works, life provides to us what we need right when we need it. And so about a month or two ago, we were having dinner, and one of the guys that we're having dinner with, he had mentioned this book about faith, and I was interested in it, and so I downloaded the book, and I started reading the book, and I just fell in love with the book. After reading it for a couple of days, I called Karen. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to speak again. I have something to say, and it's about faith. So my faith has really deepened, and I want to talk about a little bit later about my spiritual principles that are the foundation of my faith. So what is faith? So Mark is, he's my test audience. He's my research guy, so I ask him all kinds of questions. I try out different statements on him, get a reaction from him, and so he's very supportive of me as I go through this process of putting my talk together. And so I asked him, I said, so what does faith mean to you? And he said, faith is knowing that we will be together forever. And I knew that I was on the right track. So Google's definition of faith is complete trust or confidence in someone or something. Strong belief in God or in the doctrine of religion based on spiritual understandings rather than proof. So we believe in God, but we've never seen God. We believe in love, we've never seen love, but we feel it and we experience it every day. Ernest Holmes' definition of faith is a belief in the presence of an invisible principle and law which directly and specifically responds to us. So we believe in God, but we focus on spiritual principles. How do we want to use them? We approach religion as expressing and not worshiping. Ernest Holmes also says faith is a mental attitude or an inward embodiment that the mind can no longer deny it. When our beliefs move from our head to our heart, we can feel it. We embody it. So the Buddhist definition of faith is to offer one's heart or give one's heart. Faith is a verb, an action. Faith is not a singular state that we have or don't have, but it's something we do. Faith is willing to take the next step and to see the unknown. Buddhists believe that the way faith can grow is that we question what we are told. We try out the teachings, we put it on, we put it into practice, and then we look to see if it makes a difference in our life. Ernest Holmes encourages us to test the spiritual principles that we discuss. Every Sunday, Reverend Karen focuses on different spiritual principles and offers us spiritual practices. Our spiritual practices allows us to move to having a more mature faith. We embody the belief. So faith is very personal, just like our relationship with God. What I believe and how I describe God is going to be very different than the way you describe God. No one's right or wrong. It's just a personal choice, and we should be taking the time to question what we believe and we trust ourselves. It's our life, and it's our journey, our spiritual journey. So in the book, Sharon tells a story about Buddha is talking about faith, or he's teaching about faith. And Buddha tells a story about cows crossing a river to explain how faith evolves. So first there's blind faith, believing in something believing in something because you were told to believe. Think about the newborn calf that is terrified to cross the river, but they know they don't have any choice or they'll be left behind. When we were young, we were told what to believe. Until we got older, we never questioned it. So a perfect example of this is when we were younger, some people were told that if we sin, we're going to go to hell, right? And what do we believe? We don't believe there's a heaven or hell. We believe there's a state of consciousness. And we don't believe in sin. Instead, it's an opportunity for us to learn and grow and help us discover more of who we really are. So our religion can be difficult for some people because we don't tell you what to believe. You get to decide what you want to believe. So bright faith is the love that calls us, or the urge that pushes us to stop aligning with the familiar or the convenient, but step out to a potential of something greater. We act on our potential to transform and live a different way. So these are the middle cows in this picture up here. So they're following the herd, right? So they're in the middle, and they're just following along with everybody else. And sometimes, we can use that phrase, fake it till we make it, right? So we just follow along with everybody else until we can really get it. But we have to figure it out for ourselves. So have you ever been accused of having a positive attitude or always seeing life with the glass half full? People want what we have. Or you see someone that's successful at work, or someone in your spiritual community, or even a hobby that you enjoy, and you try to emulate what their techniques are or their habits in their life. And you try to emulate that in your life. I want to experience what they have, not out of envy, but out of possibility. We teach spiritual principles, and we get to choose the life that we want to experience. So I remember a couple of years ago when we first brought Axel home. Axel's our dog. He's a German Shepherd Lab. He's a pretty big dog, and he was very anxious when we brought him home, to the house, and so he was following us around everywhere. And we had, at the time, we have an upstairs, and so when we would go upstairs, he would follow us upstairs. But he was terrified to go down the stairs, and he would not come down the stairs. Even we called him, and he wouldn't come down. So Mark would go upstairs, pick him up, and carry him downstairs. So this happened a couple times. And then finally, we got smart. So we go back up there, and Axel wants to come back down, but he's afraid to. So Mark walks with Axel every step of the way until he gets down to the bottom to reassure Axel that everything's going to be okay, right? And that's all it took. And then from that point on, Axel ran up and down the stairs nonstop. Okay? So we had this little fun thing that we used to do, because we don't live there anymore. That what we would do is that we would race him who would get to the top of the stairs or the bottom of the stairs. We could not walk up the stairs anymore. Everybody had to run, right? And so sometimes what we would do is Axel would be in the living room, right, and we're going to go upstairs, and we would take off running up the stairs, and he would quickly chase after us. So it was a little fun thing that we had, but that's an example. See, at first he was terrified, and with that loving support, he knew that he could do it, and from that point on, life just grew for him. So mature faith is that we trust and honor ourselves. We weigh what others tell us, we weigh what others tell us against our own experiences. So the cows in the front of the picture they're the herd, they're the mature, they have that mature faith. They know where they're going. They know the reason why they're crossing that river, and they're moving forward. So we test it for ourselves, and we see if it supports the life that we want to experience. We are guided by that inner light into the unknown. So a few years back, I'm sure some of you remember when they had the shooting in California. In Colorado. They had the shooting, and it was in Aurora, Colorado. Well, the minister that was in that community, she was also the minister for the first responders for whenever catastrophes happen, like in a city. And so she was part of the first responders, and they had a community member at their church that was actually shot and killed in that movie theater. So we had class. She was one of our instructors, and so she was teaching us a class, and it wasn't on faith, but it was about faith, right? And so she walked us through the events of when the shooting happened, and her getting notified, her being on site where the event happened, and dealing with the people and the families and everything going on there. At the same time, moving all the way through the event of she had to have a Sunday service and create a container for her community to understand what happened, for her community to understand that they lost somebody in this shooting. And she had no idea how she was going to do this. And when she was telling us the story, it actually terrified me because I'm like, oh my gosh, what would I do? I don't know if I could do this or not. But she proceeded to tell us that the year before, that all these different events that happened throughout the year supported her in this one situation. It prepared her, and she didn't know at the time, but when she looked back on it, she could see how life supported her through the whole year before. So when she went and they had this experience, that she didn't know what to do, but she trusted her faith, and she moved through it, and her faith led the way. So faith is nature's gentle calling, or life urging us to move into the unknown. So how does it work? So you see the cross on the scale. I don't know if some of you can see, it's a little small there, but there's a little cross on the scale. And when I was looking at the slide, it really stood out for me. And so with that cross, right where the spirit and the human experience intersect is where we are. We are at that center of that intersection. Our journey through life, we're always losing faith and gaining faith. It's a never-ending process. So some situations where our faith is challenged. Probably the biggest one is fear, right? Fear of the unknown. Fear of, are we going to lose our job because the company's being bought out by somebody else? Fear of, I lost my job and am I ever going to find another job? Or how about with relationships? We're in a relationship and fear that our relationship is not going to last. It's going to end. Or we don't know what to do to make it last or help it, support it to last. Or how about a medical condition? Fear of the unknown of the medical condition, and we don't know what's going to happen. We have to wait for the results, and sometimes we have to even wait to go see the doctor to get the test, and we're terrified. So the fear really tests and challenges our faith. Another example is control. Life is always changing, and we cannot control it, right? So right now, 5 years ago, were you doing the exact same thing? I hope you were sitting in this church 5 years ago at this moment, right? But think about your life 5 years ago. Where were you? What were you doing, right? So our life, all life is forever changing, right? So this time last year, I lived on the west side. Now I live on the central north Phoenix, and my life is completely different. I'm experiencing a whole different life now where I live, and I'm loving it. Okay. Another example is we want something right now. God, give me a sign. How many have used that term? God, give me a sign that I'm doing the right thing, right? And so life is unfolding, and we have to trust that it's unfolding, but sometimes we're not patient enough to allow it to unfold. We want it to happen right now. And then the last one is pain. So it could be mental pain, it could be physical pain, or emotional pain. This pain really challenges our faith because our mind has a bad habit of playing the same record over and over again, and we get stuck. So what are some practices that we can do to gain more faith, to deepen our faith? It's really an inside job, and we can only increase it or decrease it by our own experiences. So the first one is breathe. Take a breath. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're feeling really anxious, or you're feeling really afraid, or feeling really nervous, whatever it might be, take a moment, stop, and start focusing on your breath. Just allow yourself, close your eyes, and just focus on your breath. And if you can step out of that situation and give yourself a little privacy and a little time by yourself and focus on your breath, you're going to see a shift in consciousness. You're going to see a different perspective in that situation just by focusing on your breath. Another practice is be open to possibilities. There's infinite possibilities to express and experience life. And if we can stay open, our faith will light the way. Another example is meditation. So we talk about practicing meditation in almost every scenario that there is. The question is, why aren't we all meditating every day? 5 minutes is all it takes, and you can see how your life will change. 5 minutes. And then the last one is prayer. So we pray spiritual mind treatment because it helps us remember the truth, right? So the recognition is we recognize that God is everywhere. There's no place where God is not. We recognize all the qualities of God. The second one is unification. We recognize, we realize, and we accept that we are that individualized expression of God. So all of those qualities that we've just identified and we've recognized in nature, we have those same qualities within us. And then finally, the third step is to claim the truth, to know that truth, not ask for it, not beg for it, but to claim it, right? And then give thanks and then release it. That's the way that we pray. Our prayers help us remember the truth. So all these practices can help us deepen our faith and trust ourselves. So what do you see in this picture? Do you see the bush or do you see a man and a woman? So Sharon was telling a story about one night when her and her friend, after they finished going to a play or a movie or something, they stopped off at this art gallery, and they were quickly going through this art gallery, and they came across this three-dimensional image, and they were looking at this three-dimensional image, and Sharon could see the dinosaurs in the image, but her friend could not see them. And her friend was getting very frustrated, saying that she can't see it, or that she thought that Sharon was making it up, but Sharon could see the dinosaurs in the image. So Sharon explains how we need to view life through our quiet eyes to see the interconnectedness of all life and the infinite possibilities. Sometimes we are focused on something that we miss the gift because we can't see it. Take a breath and look with your quiet eyes, and the image will come into focus. So it's really funny because I have practiced this and I didn't know what it was, but a lot of times, either on Facebook or if I'm looking at something and they have these images that can change back and forth, sometimes if I can't see it, I will literally relax myself into that picture, relax my look into that picture, and I can see it. And now I understand, we just call it quieting our eyes. So the next time you're looking at something and you can't see it, or the next time you're in a situation and you can't see the solution, quiet your eyes. Take a breath. So Ernest Holmes says, as we bring ourselves to a greater vision, we induce a greater concept and thereby demonstrate more of our experience. When we soften our gaze, we begin to experience more possibilities. So I want to talk about 3 spiritual principles that are the foundation of my faith, and that I've been focused on, I've contemplated, and I've been living for the last 25 years since I've been introduced to science of mind. So the first one is I am an individualized expression of God. So I learned this spiritual principle in my foundations class, and I learned that I am a child of God. So the question is what does that mean to you? Have you contemplated that? Have you really thought about what does it mean that I am an individualized expression of God? When we had our retreat, board retreat a couple months ago, that was our spiritual practice. We talked about that, and we got to go around the room and share what that meant to each one of us, right? So have we spent the time to think about what does it mean to me to be an individualized expression of God? So what does it mean to me? It means that I'm never alone, that God is always present in every moment, in every action, and so I have no fear of being alone. It's increased or boosted my confidence, right? Because when I look out into the nature and I see the qualities of life, of intelligence, of creativity, of power, and I see all of this incredible intelligence and power and creativity in the world, I know that I have that same power within me. I just have to tap into it. It increased my self-worth because I know that God is only good, and I know that I am an expression of God. And I feel the love of God every day from my family, from my friends, from my community, from my pets, from Axel. So that's what I am, an individualized expression of God. That's what it means to me. So do you embody this principle? So the next one is, life is always changing. And what we have to remember is that we are co-creating our life, right? Life is not happening to us. We are co-creating it. So the Buddhists talk about undue suffering, that we have a tendency to hold on to things, or we have a tendency to try to control things, and so we cause a lot of our own personal suffering. So if we're having an incredible, beautiful experience in life, you're having an incredible, beautiful relationship or a beautiful moment, what we should be doing is cherishing that moment. We should be completely present in that moment and honoring it, and even pausing and experiencing the feelings of what it feels like, so you can remember that. But then at the same time, hold it lightly and knowing that it will change. But knowing that you're in that moment right now and you're enjoying it, in every moment of it. And the same thing goes for if you're suffering, if you're going through pain, if you're going through a challenging time. Hold that lightly. Don't get stuck there, and know that that too will change. So we honor both situations and knowing that life will change. But we have to stay focused on that we are co-creating our life. The thing we need to know the most is what's important to us. We have to be very clear what is important to us. What do we believe? So we know what we focus on, what we focus our attention on, we're creating our reality. So what kind of reality are you creating? The last one is life moves in one direction, more good. This is probably the spiritual principle that I've been holding on to the most. It's really been percolating with me over the last few years. And it started with COVID. You know, and COVID's in the rearview mirror. It's not even in the rearview mirror anymore. It's behind us. But when we all still remember it because it's still new and fresh in our minds. One of the things that was really scary to me is driving on the highway and no cars on the highway. Right? Not knowing what's going to happen, that this happened all across the world and nobody had a solution. Everybody was trying to figure it out. Everybody was in fear. Everybody was afraid. And not to mention all the people that were dying. It was a very scary moment. But there was a group of us that came to church every Sunday to keep the light on, to keep the light shining bright for the West Valley Center for Spiritual Living, to keep that message going. And that was an anchor for me. That was where my faith was, that I knew that we would get through it, we would move past it, and we would move on with life. And I'm thankful that where I am today, I'm thankful that I was not hurt any more than I was hurt by the situation, by not losing anybody, and I'm very thankful for that. Some of us have lost people in our lives, but we're moving on, right? So life only moves in one direction, for more good, more creativity, more abundance, and we can expect that. And that's what I expected when COVID was going on. Another example was the January 6th, when the Capitol was under attack. Everybody has their own definition of what happened on January 6th. I was watching TV when all of it was happening. Did I get angry? I didn't get angry. Was I sad? I was very sad because it was an attack on our Capitol. And I was scared because I didn't know what was going to happen. There was a lot going on in that short period of time, and we're still dealing with it today. But what I knew in that moment is that, again, life only moves in one direction. Yes, it may be scary, it may be challenging, it may be difficult, but I know that we're going to get through this. Not only me, but everyone. And so I can stand in this place of knowing this truth, no matter what's happening in my life, and move through it. We all can move through it. Sometimes it's just taking a breath, focusing on our breath, and just taking that one step. Sometimes it's just sitting and waiting and knowing that it's going to work out, standing in our faith, leaning into our faith, and just focusing on our breath. So our faith deepens as we question our beliefs. And so our beliefs are challenged all the time. So our faith becomes a lighthouse as we weather a storm. Our faith provides a sense of comfort and peace as we navigate through life. And our faith is like a candlelight that can never be extinguished by the darkness. So I'm going to close with the quote that I found in the book from this Buddhist leader that talks about what faith is. There is darkness in the world, but it is merely an absence of light. All the darkness in the world cannot dispel even the smallest candle flame. We need only to accustom ourselves to the dim vision, and then the blessings of the light will grow. And so it is. Thank you. Let me get a drink. Oh, so we just allow ourselves to focus on that inner candle, that flame that's burning within each one of us. That flame of spirit, of creativity, of beauty, of power, of intelligence, and of love. That flame that can never be extinguished, no matter how much darkness is going on in the world. That flame is always burning bright within us. We just simply need to go within. Be still. Be open to that divine spirit, that divine wisdom, the divine intelligence that's guiding and directing all life. And what we know is that all life unfolds in divine right order. It's guided by that divine intelligence. Through the seasons, we have things that die, we have things that grow, we have things that rebirth. We see a caterpillar that transforms into a butterfly. We see a baby being born. We see a loved one that passes, transitions. We know it's all life, and it's all good because it's all God. And so what I know is that each one of us is that individualized expression of this one life. That our flame, our faith, burns bright. There's no extinguishing it. It guides us. We lean into it when we need support. We let it wrap its arms around us when we need that comfort and that peace. And we sit there and openly expect the infinite possibilities to experience and express life. Because we know that it's all God and it's all good. We know that we are that individualized expression of life. We know that life is always changing and that we get to co-create life. We get to co-create to experience a life that we want to experience, and we claim it right here and right now. And no matter what is going on in our life, what is going on in the world, what we know is that life only evolves, only moves in one direction. More good, more love, more creativity, and more abundance. Life is creating from itself, and if there's only good, there can be only good that is created from it. So I give thanks to know this truth. I give thanks to know that we can stand in any condition that's going on, and we can look within for that flame to guide us. I give thanks to know that we come together to celebrate life every Sunday, to celebrate ourselves, because we honor ourselves. We trust ourselves because we are God expressing. And I just simply give thanks for life itself. What a gift it is to be in, through, and experiencing all life. So I simply know this truth for each one of us, and I release it out into the world, knowing it's all good because it's all God. And together we say, and so it is.
Grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. Everywhere I look and every face I see is love reflected, shining back to me. I just give thanks for all these simple things, the joy and peace that gratitude brings. That's why I'm grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have. I am so grateful, grateful, grateful for all the love that I have.
All right, so now's the time to celebrate the abundance of our life and the abundance of our community. And I have a quick grateful story to tell you. So this is, and so I'm sorry, board members, some of you have not heard this yet, but you get to hear with everybody else. So we had a board meeting last week, and so one of the things I reported out in the board meeting, we go over the finances, and I was talking about our electric bill and having to pay our electric bill. And so we're on the budget plan where we pay the same amount every single month. And so last month we had a bill, and they didn't withdraw it from our account. And I was like, well, what's going on? Why didn't they withdraw it from our account? And they need to withdraw it. So I called the bank, I called the electric company on Friday and was, inquiring about it and trying to figure out why they haven't withdrew that money from us. And especially because now we have the June statement, and I'm sorry, the June statement. What month are we in? Thank you. We have the July statement. We have the July statement. I'm like, okay, they're going to take out both months now. And so I didn't want to make sure that wasn't going to happen. So what happened is, because we're on that budget billing, and because we have new air conditionings in this building from the last year, so they priced our budget billing at the rate we had from previous. Well, now, because of our new air conditionings and the efficiency of our new air conditionings, that our monthly expense has gone down. So we actually had enough money in reserve that covered, we had a credit balance, and it covered for our June electric bill. So anyway, so it was very, very exciting. And they also adjusted our monthly expense down about $100. So, and it's because of the new air conditioners we have. And I am so grateful, that we have our wonderful air conditioner. So anyways, I just had to share that wonderful story with you, because that shows you the abundance that we are standing in right here and right now. So, all right, so let's say our giving affirmation together. If you repeat this after me. No, repeat it together. I live in a consciousness of good. Divine love blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God, and so it is.
Please rise for our last song. I be alive.
Oh, I love that song. I love that we end with that song. It feels so good to be alive. So repeat our closing affirmation with or after me. I trust myself. And I allow my faith to lead the way. And so it is.